What is going on, guys? The numbers are out for the July playtest. It's been a couple of days since it ended. And if you like numbers like I do, maybe this is interesting to you. Otherwise, maybe it won't be interesting to you. But we're going to take a look at the comprehensive number breakdown that they've given us for the July. And then I kind of want to compare that to the previous playtest that happened last month. And there is a difference there. This playtest was 5 days, 120 hours, whereas the previous playtest was 3 days, 72 hours. So we will, take that into account. There is a disclaimer. When you look at the charts, please remember that the test ran for 5 days, 120 hours, and both the 23rd and the 28th are not full days. So it touched 6 days of the week, Wednesday through Monday, but the Wednesday and Monday, the first and the 6th day, were only half days. So you put those together, and they will make 1 day. Therefore, 5 total days, 120 hours, if you want to look at it like that. So we do have some numbers here. And then we have on the right side is the June playtest overview. So let's take a look at a couple things here. So firstly, with the July playtest, we had 6,761 unique accounts that logged in over the playtest. Now, the difference between a 5-day playtest and a 3-day playtest, you go from 120 hours down to, you go from 72 hours up to 120 hours from the previous playtest. The difference there is 67% more hours. So with that being said, you're going to expect some numbers to go up. You're given more time, people are going to play more. Or so you think. As long as it's good, as long as everybody's having fun, people are going to play more. So keep that in mind, and we'll use that. So the July playtest, we saw 6,761 unique accounts, whereas in the June playtest, 1 month ago, we had 5,592. So we did see an increase in unique accounts. That's across all 3 servers. The PvP server being small compared to the PvE servers, but still, this is all 3. Now, the increase from 5,592 up to 6,761, we're seeing a 20% increase in the amount of unique accounts. So we had 20% more people joining this playtest than last month's playtest. That's a large increase. Regardless if it had 2 extra days or not, that's 20% more people who showed up at some point. Keep in mind that the 2 extra days were weekdays. These playtests are typically over the weekend, because most people have weekends off unless you're like me. And typically it's on the weekend, but the added days were a Wednesday and a Thursday. So, if you, regardless of what game you play, if you look at your server numbers, if they're available, typically the servers have lower numbers during the weekdays, like in the middle of the week, a Wednesday, whatever. And then as the weekend comes out, depending on what kind of games you play, if you play EverQuest, your favorite camps are typically taken on the weekends when everybody's home from work or what have you. So do keep that in mind. Even though there was 2 extra days, those days aren't as valuable or as potent typically as like a weekend day. Take it as you will. Crunch it as you must. So next up, we have the average playtime per account. We had 13.9 hours played per account. What do we have in last month's playtest? We had 8.22 average hours played. That we saw an increase from 8.22 up to 13.9. We saw an increase of 70% playtime per account. So now I just said we got 67% more time to play. So at least we stayed in tandem with that by coming at it with 70%. So we pushed it a little bit, just a little bit. We pushed it up 3%. But I think the impressive thing to me here is that, one, it's a longer playtime, right? Not everybody is going to play more just because there's more time available. There's the people who are going to come in and be like, I just wanted to check this out. I wanted to try that out. I got it done. I'm out. These characters are getting wiped at the end of the year before early access, what have you. So I'm not going to push it too hard. So there's the people who, just because there's a couple more days doesn't mean they're going to play more. There is that. But the biggest thing is that we got 20% increase in characters, or in unique accounts, excuse me. So that means 20% of people who didn't play last playtest played this playtest. And even though there was a 20% more fresh bodies checking out the game, seeing like what is this all about, we were still able to not only keep up with the increased playtime, but even pushed it a little more. So all I'm saying, I'm not trying to say like anything too crazy with that, just that that's a good sign. That's positive. We got more people, we got more time, we met that time, and even pushed it a little more, even with some newbies coming in, not sure if they're gonna like it or not. I played with some people this weekend, some people that I play EQ with that had tried it for the first time. And after the playtest went down, I got some messages that were, that they just loved it. I mean, you probably know some of them, and they absolutely loved it. So we got a couple more for the next playtest coming up. Hopefully we can do some more grouping stuff for sure. All right. So let's see what other kind of info they're giving us. Unfortunately, in the last month's playtest, as you see, it looks different over here. We didn't get the comprehensive breakdown. They just didn't have time. These guys they're ramping up, right? We got playtests that are coming, and the playtests are getting closer together, well, from and they're getting longer. This playtest was 5 days, which is longer than the last playtest, which was 3 days. And then the next playtest is going to be 7 days. And then the one after that is going to be 10 days. So they're ramping up. They're trying to get all the bug fixes, all the reports, everything. They're trying to get that all fixed. They're trying to push and get everything done by early access, which is coming up. That's, first quarter next year, which we're already halfway through this year. You know what I mean? So they're trying to do all of that, and they don't, necessarily have all the time to do these kind of breakdowns. So I'm glad we got the one for this month. That's nice. We missed out last month, but I feel like there's a shot we might not get it this next playtest, but we'll get it the following to, kind of close it out. But let's see what else they gave us here. You can kind of see a spread here of the daily users. Obviously, the first and the last are going to be the lowest, as those were half days. But you can see on the first full day, day 2, we peaked. And then it went down from there, which is normal, but it didn't drop heavily. It was just a gradual decline as the playtest concluded. Once again, you can see here the peak concurrent player count. We reached a new high of 1710. If you look over here, in the last one, we got 1274. So that our increase here is 35%. So a 35% increase in concurrent player count. It's pretty good. You can kind of see their petition numbers. There was 428 opened, and they closed 421 of them. The last 7 likely happened close to the servers coming down, and they're busy shutting down for the night, shutting down for the playtest until next month. So sometimes those don't get wrapped up in time when you submit them last second like that. We have playtime by class. This was interesting, right? Shaman's got the most playtime. 10.1% of all playtime went to shamans. There was 925 of them. So it wasn't necessarily, I wish we can, this is just going to open it up. I wish we can sort, but we'll just have to look at it here. So Shaman's got the most playtime, although they weren't the most made character. The most made character, there's only one that's in quad digits, and that's the Necromancer. It was, of course, it's got to be the Necro. Necro's the best class. In all games, not this game. I mean, just in games, in gaming. Fight me. Anyways, so I'm just kidding. So Necros, we got 1,055. Now, let's take a look and see what was the least. I think previously it's Inquisitor. So what did we get here? 408 for the Inquisitor. So it looks like Inquisitor still holds the last place. But people played him. People played him a little more than they did their archers. There was more archers made, but there was more people who were like, I think I'm good. In fact, the 2 physical range classes, Ranger and Archer, hold 2 of the last 3 spots on the list. Ouch. But let's just make a rundown here. for those of you that are just listening while at work or what have you. We got the Shaman, the Druid, followed by the Druid, followed by the Shadow Knight, then the Bard, Necro, Enchanter, Cleric, Fighter, Elementalist, Beastmaster, Spellblade, Rogue, Monk, Paladin. I did my best to pump those Paladin numbers. Didn't do too well. Wizard, Ranger, Inquisitor, and Archer. Pulling up the back end there. So people loving the Shamans and the Druids, getting that you know that's what it is. They got at level 8, and they're like, let's get it. And they're like, this game is great. And they're running around at light speed everywhere. And I mean, a Bard is number 4, so there you go. Bards have basically, they have their own run speed. So 3 of the top 4 got run speed, pre-level 10. Yeah, I mean, that goes for any game, right? All right, top 10 poop sockers by level. And by poop sockers, they mean the highest levels in the game. It's just a joke. I love it. Don't ever change. So on Haradrel is the PvP server. Much harder to level. You get ganked. You get harassed and all of that. We had a level 26, though. Baller. That's the top 10. Take a look there. They were a Goblin Shadow Knight coming in at number 1. Let's take a look at the PvE servers, though. On my server, Krivia, the smaller of the 2 PvE servers, we had a level 35 as our top. Somehow, Dirty Old Socks dropped out of the top 10 poop sockers. He's got socks in his name. Poop is dirty. But he's in his 20s. He played a lot, but he got paced. I don't know. Rel, though, the popular server, the most popular server, had 2 level 40s. Now, these are the high... So, Sauce is the highest level. I'm assuming they put him first because he's got more experience into level 40 than Ling. But Sauce being the highest level in the open alpha. Of course, there is a closed alpha, friends and family, that games do. There are level 60s within the friends and family. It's open, way more than the... I shouldn't use that word. It's available way more than the open alpha. The closed alpha is available to friends and family way more. They're still, they're still working and trying to find bugs and all that stuff. Anyways, the highest available to you and I in the open alpha is Sauce. Level 40 Goblin Rogue, probably duoing with Ling, if I had to guess, a Goblin Shaman. Both got pretty close playtime. So I'm going to assume that's a duo. In fact, the entirety of the top 10 is above level 30 on both servers. Nice. We got some PvP statistics. Haradrel, like, imagine that. Imagine Haradrel, the PvP server, having 1337. They're elite over there. Not a lot of PvP going on Krivia and Rel. For all you old gamers out there, that's probably all of us. 1337. If you know, you know. Total coin looted. No platinums, but 826 gold pieces looted. Can't imagine looting a gold. I'm too much of a noob for that. But 826 were looted. Those are going to be by the highest levels, I'm sure. You got the top looted items, bone chips, cloth scraps, newbie stuff, right? Most deadly NPCs. It's going to be... And Ashira Warrior took it this time, with a Skeletal Warrior being second, likely because people are a little higher in this playtest than they were in the last playtest, because it carries over. Previously, it was a Skeletal Warrior. Everybody trying to get a cracked staff or gear or whatever from skeletons. For Krivia, same back-to-back there. For some reason on Haradrel, it was a Watchman. Not sure what that's about. But that's going to be it for our stats. One thing I will look at, though, here is if we go to the April playtest, which is the 2 playtests ago, we did get a comprehensive breakdown. And if we come down here just to take a look, there's some categories here. It was a little more comprehensive. There's some categories here that we didn't get this time around. I'm a little sad about, but I understand. We had the top 10 wealthiest players in total copper. But I would have loved to see this come back. I was really eager to see this on this playtest, and I didn't get it. So that was unfortunate. But one thing I will point out here, though, is you can see here that Sauce, 2 playtests ago, Sauce was the highest with 32,000 plus copper, which equates to 3.2 platinum, right? You're the richest on the server. You got 3.2 platinum. But fast forward to today, 2 playtests later, and he's the number 1 highest level on the server. So they go hand in hand, right? The higher you get, the more money's dropping, the more money you're getting from vendoring trash. So I would have loved to see how much platinum he has after 2 playtests later, including a 5-day playtest. But maybe next time, maybe next time. And another one, shout out to the hardcore players. Previously, the highest hardcore player was a level 13 monk. Would love to see what that is 2 playtests later. He might be dead. Somebody might be level 20 plus. Who knows? I don't. But another one that I would have loved to see is the top 10 trade skills per server, trade skill players per server. You got the 3 server categories here. And just to see where they're at, I would have loved to see this 2 playtests later, another 8 days of playing later. I do notice that ZZZ is here at the top of the alchemy with only 30. But at the top here, these numbers are quite low. But they would be much, much higher this time around. And I think ZZZ focused on tailoring this go. Because I know I sold all of my cloth scraps to ZZZ, so shout out. And I got my bags from them and everything like that. Cheapest prices on the server. If you're on Krivia, maybe next time the alpha's around, you know where to get your cheapest bags on the server, and he'll buy your cloth scraps and what have you. Good prices. Anyways, free advertisement there for you. Anyways, that's about it. Those were the server numbers. I like to see an increase in everything. Obviously, it's a longer one. The next playtest, which is going to be September 1st, is going to be what would we just have 5? It's going to be a 7-day playtest. And so, you know, we'll have to increase it again there. But I'm expecting more unique accounts than this time around. I'm expecting possibly longer numbers. At least, you know, at least keep pace with the increased amount of time that we're allotted. But I'm expecting to see us push it even more because I think people are really enjoying this game. There's obviously the outliers, and you know, we hear you. You're loud. We hear you. But I think people are really enjoying this game, and I know I am, and I know people that I hang with that like games like me are also enjoying themselves, and I know that a handful of them tried it this time around that didn't last time, and I'm expecting that to happen again in the next go. So until September 1st, I won't see you in game, but I'll see you in some videos. We'll see you in the next one.